Hello and welcome to Castable. This is the podcast which brings on brilliant guests to pitch their dream music festival. My name is Matt Hoss and I'm the host, and I'm here to guide you around their festival. Today we have a comedy writer, performer, actor, Twitch streamer, podcaster, and former pop star. It's Alexis Strum. Hello.
I sound so fabulous when you do the intro.
Well,
I hope I live up to it.
I was going to say you sound fabulous regardless, Alexis.
Oh, thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. I'm very excited to talk about festivals and music in general because I don't actually get to talk about music very much anymore. And it was my first love and it will be my last.
So I really got to know you during in the last year through Twitch and stuff like that, but I don't really know much about your life as a former pop star. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we'll call it a life as a former almost pop star. I think it's probably better, Matt. And also ran. So I'd always been into songwriting and writing poems, and I was quite precocious. When I was about 14, I used to go into London and do slam poetry gigs.
Yeah,
my own poems and stuff. And then I started writing songs. I got my first guitar when I was, I think, 14 or 15.
Yeah.
And then I just went through all different school bands, loved music, got my first 4-track recording machine when I was about 15, started tracking. I used to do covers of Nirvana and Hole songs in the bedroom.
No, did you do it like originally, or did you do your own flavor on it? Like kind of like Take That's version of Smells Like Teen Spirit. Did you do?
I wish I could say that I did put some creativity into it. No, but really I was trying to sound like, I had this thing, Matt, I've always wanted to be a man in a rock band.
Oh my God, cool.
Yeah, so I always wanted to sound like a guy. So I was probably trying to just sound like Kurt Cobain, which is physically very difficult. But that's where it started. And then school bands. And then after that, went to university. And that was when I really started applying to stuff. I used to buy I don't think it exists anymore, the Melody Maker newspaper and the NME.
Yeah.
And every week at the back of the newspapers, they'd have ads for producers looking for singers, bands, that sort of thing. And I'd reply to everything. I'd just apply to every single one. And through one of those ads, I started writing with a songwriting team and got my first publishing deal when I was maybe 21, I think 20 or 21.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was huge. And at the time it was like massive amount of money. I didn't really know what to do with myself. I was really young, being given all this money to write songs for people. And it was just the best of times. It was right at the peak of when the music business had a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, so I probably the music business has no money now because of me, I would imagine. All the money they wasted.
The economic crush of the music industry was due to Alexis Strum.
It was wholeheartedly. People say it's because of MP3s and downloads. Nuh-uh, it was me wasting it. They made a dodgy investment in this Essex bird who could write songs, but she wasn't very good.
Oh, bless.
And then, so I wrote for other people. And then because I was a singer as well, and that was really what I wanted to do, eventually and inevitably, I got my own deal and deals, I say, and was sort of almost successful as a pop star. I've done a very abridged version of it. I mean, there's lots of great stuff and horrible stuff that went on in between that, but some real highlights. And I managed to get out of having to do an actual job for about 10, 15 years with that. So, pretty good, really.
That's all what we performers want to do. We just want to find something just to cling on to for a couple of years, just so we don't have to do an office job.
Yes, as long as you can, as you can.
That's I wish I was joking, but that was literally why I started stand-up, I think. But just to cling on to the uni days just for a while longer. But,
that's it. Why not? If you can find a job. Some people do it for their whole lives. Look at the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We could be the new Rolling Stones. We should start a band, Alexis. That'd be great.
What would it be called, Matt?
Maybe like Nirvana 2.0 or something like that.
Yeah,
and
I like that.
You could do vocals. I will do everything else. It'd be great.
Yeah, because Kurt Cobain's not going to come knock in and say, so we're all right, we're safe.
Yeah. It's a moral grey point, but legally we're fine.
Yeah, ethically, I'm not so sure about, but yeah, let's do it.
So welcome to the podcast, mate. It's great to have you here. So we kind of talked about your past, but we usually start with the question, if someone were to ask you what kind of music are you into, how do you typically respond to that question?
I was thinking about this before we chatted because it's really difficult for me to pick a genre. I suppose if you cut me right through like a stick of rock, it would say pop. You know, that's who I am to my core. I'm very pop. But I have so many other musical interests. Like I'm a big soul Motown lover.
Yes. Yeah.
That's my thing. That's what gets me in my heart. You know, if I'm going out, I'll listen to some great dance music and that really moves me. But it's very dependent on my mood. But I would say probably pop music is the thing. Yeah.
Well, that's great to hear. And because obviously pop changes throughout the years. Is there a
Mm-hmm.
certain time period or is a certain type of sound you like with pop?
Yeah, actually, I would say around early noughties pop is probably my favorite period.
Nice.
Yeah, like the Justin Timberlake and Britney, you know, that whole was it Max Martin that used to write all those massive pop tunes, you know. That was a great time in pop. There's still great songs that come out now, but I do find, and I don't want to sound like an old person, but a lot of it is shit, really. But occasionally you get like Dua Lipa comes out with like a banger and you just listen to it. I always appreciate stuff on the merits of the songwriting, you know.
Yeah.
It's not enough for it just to have a good beat and someone looking good in a bikini in the video. It's about the songwriting. And I do think Dua Lipa's really, for me, like one of the real stars of this generation. Amazing songs that will stand the test of time. I think that's the test, isn't it? If you can play it on an acoustic guitar in 20 years time and people go, God, I love that. That's the test of whether it's a good song or not.
Yeah. And that's a really really interesting insight there. And what I really like what you bring to this podcast is the songwriting aspect of it, because we do talk about music a lot on this. Obviously that's the point of the podcast, but like yeah, like it'd be kind of weird if we talked about like whale hunting on Moby Dick for, you know, for the last 20 episodes, but like but it's really good to have a songwriter to see that as well. I know people who study like film and then they can't really watch the film in the same way again. Is it that same for you? Like you can never see the song, you never listen to a song in a certain way again?
Yeah, it's a good question. Actually, it's part of the reason I got out of the music business, because I reached a stage when I gave up music, and I put that in inverted commas because it's not something you ever give up really. But I got to the point where I couldn't listen to music anymore because I was so analytical and so jaded by my experiences that I fell out of love with it for a while. And I had to actually, it's kind of like a relationship. I had to have some time apart. And then I remember I was just driving along one day, put the radio on and actually listened to a music channel rather than the news. And then I started feeling those feels again. But because I'm so analytical and I'd worked for years, you know, I'm making light of it, but songwriting's a job. You know, I would go out 5 days a week with different songwriters. They kind of hothouse you with these people, and you're left to write songs with them. And it's not just writing the songs, you have to produce up the demos and everything as well. So it's quite hard work. So I knew, you know, I'd listen to every freaking drum beat that wasn't quantized or every bass loop or whatever. And I listened to it so analytically that it spoiled music for me. And now I'm at a point where I can listen to it and I'm not thinking of the composition behind what I'm listening to. Which is nice.
I really love that answer, and I totally understand that because obviously not to the same degree, but obviously I do stand up as well. Like there's a certain point where I still do stand up, but there was definitely periods where I'm like, you know what, I can't enjoy comedy anymore. I couldn't think of anything worse than sticking on the stand up comedy. And bless them, my friends are always like, oh, we should see a stand-up show together. I was like, I politely go, maybe, but like I couldn't think of anything worse. Like just because I don't think I could go there for my own enjoyment anymore. Do you know what I mean? I enjoy it when I'm there, when I'm performing and seeing friends perform, but I don't think I can go off my own volition. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a different ball game, you know, and it's kind of like you see how the product is made, so it's kind of like working at a slaughterhouse or something like that. So
it's like, it makes me think as you said that about Wizard of Oz, when she peeks behind the curtain and sees the wizard, and it's kind of that feeling. You don't really want to know how it's done, but we know we're the magicians and we can see how the trick's done. And it's there's something, but with time and distance, you get that feeling back again.
Absolutely, yeah. And to be honest, it's been a long time since stand-up, so I think I do enjoy that quite a lot as well. What a very deep conversation we've had already, but let's talk about some festivals as well. So have you been to many festivals in your lifetime?
So I have not only been to festivals, but I've played at festivals.
Yes. Yeah. So what kind of festivals have you played? Talk me through it. This is my dream situation.
All right. So let's close our eyes. I played the V Festival. I played South by Southwest in Texas, which was literally the most exciting thing.
Oh my God. That's amazing. Yeah.
and I played the Wireless Festival and Party in the Park, which I would still say is a festival, even though it's a pop event.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I did a few. I think I did a few other little ones as well, but the South by Southwest one was, I mean, it was like a whole dream sequence, just the entire experience of being there. And in Texas and Austin, where the festival's held, they have this they have this expression, keep Austin weird, and everyone wears a t-shirt saying keep Austin weird, and it's this weird little place. The people are lovely. Oh, it's just absolutely gorgeous. Like, if I could do another festival, that would be it. Or if I could make a festival, it would be like that.
Yeah,
one, because it's just gorgeous.
So how was it performing to a festival rather than a normal show? What's the main difference for you, and did it feel different?
Yeah, well, it's weird, isn't it? Because festivals do have a different vibe. There's something more intimate at the same time. It's a larger group of people, but it just feels more intimate because you're on different turf. You almost feels like you're on their turf, whereas when you're in a venue, you're in the owner of the venue's turf, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just a really lovely, it feels like very loving, and the vibe you get back from the audience is always really loving, unless you're rubbish, of course. It's very different. But South by Southwest was great because that was very much a music lovers festival. Say Party in the Park could be just like families, you know, it's a day out, etc. But South by Southwest is more of an industry festival as well, I would say. So you're playing a lot to your peers. Yeah, it's just a beautiful thing. Like, festivals are gorgeous, like beautiful, spiritual, religious experiences, I think. And I was meant to do one this summer, actually, funnily enough, but for comedy stuff.
Yeah.
And that would have been my first one as a comedian, the Wilderness Festival, but obviously because of COVID, it didn't happen. But I mean, I would like to see how that would have gone, because that would have been not having the backup of a guitar and all that kind of thing to have behind.
It's well, you could have just done the same set and be like, "Are you ready to rock?" And then crowd surf, and then just tell jokes whilst you're on top of them. You know what I mean?
I could have done, Matt, if I'd have talked to you beforehand. There you go. I would have had my direction there.
Well, thank goodness you talked to me. Now I'm your comedy director now, so
you have to
do that every gig, even at the socially distanced ones. Where okay. I might be fired soon, but you know what an ambitious guy I am. So, from the top of your head, what's the most crazy crowd that you've either been in or you've seen live?
Oh, that's easy. Okay, I went as a punter to the V Festival one year, and Moloko were playing.
Yeah.
And it was just when Moloko had gone really huge. I think they had The Time Is Now, I think, was out, and they just crossed over. Anyway, they were playing in this really small tent, and they'd obviously underestimated how many people would go into this tent to see them. And I just remember this like absolute panic as all of a sudden all the barriers started falling down. People were pushing on top of each other, and I actually thought I was going to die watching Moloko. Do you know, it's not like if I'd have chosen
a weird obituary here,
it would have been like David Bowie or something a bit more epic. But yeah, this terrifying feeling, but at the same time quite exhilarating, because people were obviously that aggressive and excited just over a band. But yeah, it was really badly managed and handled and everything, and actually, you know, probably some people got injured, but yeah, that was like the maddest festival experience for sure.
Wonderful. Well, talking about mad festival experiences, I think it's time we head over now and set up camp. Hello and welcome to Season 3 of Castival. Great to have you back. If you like what we do, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and write us a little kind review. Also, why don't you share our podcast? Tell a friend about it. Word of mouth really helps spread the word, so please help us do that. Why don't you tweet at us at Castival Podcast and drop me a follow at Matt Hoss Comedy. Why don't you watch me on Twitch at Matt Hoss Comedy? If you like sci-fi books, why don't you buy my book called Purify from www.matthosscomedy.com. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Cheers. Castival, are you ready? Here we go! Get on your feet! If you know this one, sing along. So, Alexis, what is the name of your festival?
So this is really hard. So I had a few options.
Yes.
One was called Strummerville.
Yes, I like that.
Which is quite strong. Then the other one was like a cheeky comedy one, which was Does What It Says on the Tin Festival.
Yeah.
because it's a festival. And then the other one was like a bit more like meta, and it was called Festival.
Festival. Wow.
Festival. Yeah. So
Festival, festival.
people go, where are you going? I'm going to the festival. And they'll be like, what festival? And they get really confused. And I just thought that was quite funny.
Like a bit of a Mickey Flanagan routine. You're going to festival? No, I'm going to
exactly,
festival,
like,
mate.
Yeah, like out.
Yeah.
But I think we'll lead with Strummerville, because I think that's pretty cool. And it sounds musical already. I'm blessed with a very musical name.
Yes, I love it. Yeah, Strummerville's great. I like it. But I also think festival should be the sub, like kind of the secret name. Like it's kind of like the speakeasy version of it as well.
I like that. Maybe that's the subtitle. Like when you sell something on eBay and you've got the one-liner, and then you've got used, nearly new. That would be the subheader.
Yeah. Festival. Yeah.
Festival. Yeah.
Lovely stuff. So whereabouts geographically would you like a festival?
Where's the most expensive place that we could go to?
Kensington? I don't know.
No, I'm thinking abroad. It's got to be somewhere like where you've got to get an extra, like the Fire Festival, where they had to get special little flights out there. Somewhere really obscure. I think let's do this like the Fire Festival. Let's really like throw the money at it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Tahiti. I don't even know where that is, but it sounds really far and very glamorous. Tahiti. Nice and hot. Yeah.
I love it already, because it's like, I don't know where it is, but fuck it sounds nice.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
You've got to get in your private little Learjets or whatever you do. Yeah.
And it's like a Fire Festival, but the same logistics, really. So
the same logistics, very little planning. The sandwiches, I'm going to be dubious.
Yeah. The tuna is warm.
It's probably not going to be a very good festival. But what's going to happen is I'm still going to be making money from prison when I get sent there afterwards.
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah. Well, that's the most important thing, isn't it?
Oh, actually, no. Can I change it to Barbados? Because I have been to Barbados before, and the Bayesian people are so lovely, and I actually know that geographically, so it might be a safer option. Is that okay to change?
Yeah, absolutely. All Barbados. Right, you can also have like a sister festival at Tahiti. That could be festival. Yeah.
Festival.
Which you are legally not aligned with, but you do have a hand in supporting it. So
vested interest.
Yeah.
I think they say, vested interest.
So will there be camping at your festival, or what's the vibe in Barbados?
I think Barbados is hot. But it would be lightweight glamping, because like in the UK, glamping is sort of like wooden structures. That would be a bit hot. So it would be made out of like virgin hair and unicorn wings. Kind of ephemeral, light, wispy material that's very expensive in sort of little teepees. Glamping teepees.
Imagine you just turn up there and go, why is this teepee covered with hair? Sorry, that's just Jessica's hair. She's a virgin's hair. Why has it got wings on? Yeah, we just clipped that unicorn's wing. Yeah. Welcome to paradise, everyone.
It's going to be special, and then people will be talking about it for years to come, and that's really what I want to have with this festival.
Yeah.
Mediocre, no.
Yeah. Illegal? Yes.
Yes, illegal, yes. Tax dodge, of course.
Festival. So I get the feeling that this is quite, well, I don't get the feeling, it is quite an ostentatious festival as it is already.
Yeah,
we haven't even
pretty
heard.
Ostentatious, yeah.
But I'm loving it so far. But without revealing the lineup, how much do you reckon you would charge per ticket?
Oh gosh, that's difficult, isn't it? I always find festival tickets are so expensive.
Yeah, they are.
I'm talking as an adult that's had jobs. I can't imagine how young people can afford them. So I'm actually, despite what you might think that I was going to charge like £1,400 a ticket, I'm going to make it a uniform, egalitarian £50 for the entire weekend for everyone. Whether you go first class glamping or you want to just turn up for the day ticket, you can choose yourself.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I think it should be one price for all.
Absolutely. That sounds pretty. I was expecting it to be like £30 million, but
no.
Does the £50 cover the ticket to Barbados, or is that separate?
Yeah, it covers everything.
A butler
at your teepee and the food. But it's all going to be subsidised by Lawrence Fox's new political party, because he seems to have a lot of funding. So if I just join the party maybe a week before the festival, then siphon the funds and then leave, I think that'd be fine.
That's actually like, what a very noble thing to do. I appreciate that. Yeah.
It's the Robin Hood of festivals.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Oh my God. Yeah. But instead of the King of Nottingham, it's just some twat on Twitter. But so that's very nice. And what is one thing that makes your festival better than anyone else's?
The fact that I'm running it.
Yeah. That'll do. And
no, I think the one low price suits all. As I say, I just want to buck the trend, because it's the same with anything in the arts. It's really difficult, and there's, without going into it, COVID's hit everyone hard, but I can see why people complain, because like theatre tickets alone, I don't know if you've ever booked theatre tickets in the last 2 years, but I can't afford to do that, and I'm middle class, so if I'm priced out the market, I'm just kind of like, who's buying? My sister bought tickets for Hamilton. They were like £200 a ticket.
Yeah,
it's just like, who can afford that? It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's just so alienating, because I'm from the Northeast, and I come from I'm in that mixed bracket between I grew up working class, but I think I might be middle class now, much to my denial. But I kind of think theatre should be dead cheap. It's supposed to be for a lot of people. And bear in mind, and what as a personal chagrin of mine, it's like, and also I'm probably middle class if I use words like chagrin. But
I was just going to say that. You shot yourself in the foot then, Matt.
Yeah. Alas, hoisted by my own petard. But with I kind of feel like as a comedian, like they expect tickets to be dirt cheap, and it's kind of considered a lower art form. But like if you just it's a play, you can charge like 20 times the ticket price. It's like, well, I know a lot more production goes into it, but not that much more. Do you know what I mean?
No, I agree with you, and I think it's something that needs to change. And hopefully, maybe one of the good things that comes out of COVID is that will improve. I'm always conscious of the fact that I am middle class, and it doesn't mean that I have a lot of money, but I'm always conscious that the things that I was able to do, like go and see shows and concerts as a kid, not everyone has that access, and I can't bear the thought that kids will miss out on going to see like a Shakespeare play at the Globe or whatever, unless they've got a school trip there. How would you access that? So it's something that I, as president of the United Kingdom, when I'm in the future, I will look to address these matters, Matt, of course.
Are you going to be running as part of Lawrence Fox's campaign? Are you part of that team, or are you a different party?
So I'm going to join his team, as I say, to get the cash, and then I'm going to leave and start up my own party and start my own festival, because that's the kind of ruthless behaviour that's needed in politics right now.
Absolutely,
I think.
Well, you have my vote.
Thank you so much.
And you're going to have my £50 as we head to the main gates of your festival.
Ooh.
About to drop some acid like I know I should, but I just remember that I left it in the club. I don't know how I'll get my high. I take a look around and know I sigh, but then my salvation, it comes through, cause I'm inhaling pure O2, cause I'm going into the oxygen tent, cause I'm going into the oxygen tent, That's actually quite disappointing.
So Alexis, how many days of your festival have you got?
My festival is going to be short but sweet. It's going to be a 2-day festival, because I think some of these festivals that go on for more days than that, everyone becomes a bit stinky. So mine's going to be a very pleasant smelling festival, 2 days, and then you're gone, and it leaves you wanting more.
Okay, very nice. Yeah, but I'm not sure how people could be stinky if they had their own butler showering them every day.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. That Barbados humidity.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And also there'd of course be lots of sex would be going on at my festival as well, because it's because it's Barbados and it's hot, and it's like, there'd be a lot of friskiness.
Yeah.
So
is it kind of like is it mandatory that all couples have to like, get down to it, or is it just kind of like
anyone really?
Yeah. It's like the last days of Rome. You know what I mean? It's just
it's like it's going to be an understanding about the festival. It's like one of those that people go, oh yeah, I'm going off to Strummerville, and they'll be like, oh god, I bet you're going to get some. Like yeah, because it's got the reputation of being a very sexy festival.
Very nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can only sustain the sexiness for 2 days, and then you have to go home because the Learjets are waiting to take you.
There is a big drop off, to be fair. Like it's just like, ooh, because especially as a teenager, like I used to go to festivals, and I used to, like I think it's like residue of of the sexism at the time, because like as a teenager you can have a lot of toxic thoughts as well, like not as like not ranted, I'm not Lawrence Fox, but you know what I mean, but like kind of like you grow up thinking this weird ideal which isn't based in reality, especially for boys, but like I thought whenever I went to a festival girls will be totally into me when I was 16, but it's like I assumed that I'm getting like making out all the time, but that never happened. But of course why would it, like I assumed it was just kind of big party. Well, there was a big party atmosphere, but I also just went to see bands I liked. Yeah, I mean, like,
it works both ways. I was the same. I used to go to every festival and think, oh my god, I'm going to meet loads of hot boys and cop off. But I don't think I ever did. I mean, I remember working at a festival when I was about maybe 17 or 18 in the summer. It was called the Phoenix Festival, and David Bowie played one year, so I got to see him play live, which I'm very delighted about. And I just remember going, and I was hot then. That was like in my prime. I didn't get any action. I didn't get any action at all, and I had to go home.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, so this is why Strummerville's got to make up for that. So it's going to even say in the small print, "Come sexy."
Yes.
And it might even be spelled CUM. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, hello. It's
going to be that kind of festival. But it's also a family festival, Matt. I don't want you to get I don't need to get confused. There's going to be a family section where you can bring your kids as well.
Yeah, and but if you stray outside that, it's just constant sex. It's
you got to be very careful about those lines. The lines need to be drawn, Matt. Yeah.
So are you starting on Saturday or a Friday?
I'm starting on a Saturday because the flights, as we mentioned, it's quite an obscure part of Barbados, a lot of flights to get there. And you need to have a little sleep before the festivities begin on the Saturday. I would say the Saturday morning, and there'd be crafts. It would start with crafts.
Lovely stuff. Yeah. So about any kind of crafts in particular, or? It
would be all the crafts, Matt. Thank you for asking. All the crafts. There would be some Play-Doh. There'll be more epic crafting, like murals, graffiti lessons with Banksy.
Yeah.
Just like no expense spared kind of thing. Yoga, bit of yoga, some Tai Chi, lots of vegan food, which you'll like.
Yes, please.
So it would start like it's sort of hippie-ish in the beginning, you see.
I like it because you say in the beginning, because the amount of debauchery about to go on in like 20 minutes time. But I hate how I had to I tried to specify any kind of crafts, be like, every single craft, everything we're doing it, and we're not just doing it cheaply, we're getting Banksy into it.
Yeah, of course we've got to get all the best crafty people. Kirsty Allsop, she'll be making some decorations for your home.
Brilliant.
And we'll have Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen, he'll be leading an interior design workshop from your teepee. He come to each teepee directly, teepee by teepee, and give those instructions.
It's like, can you stop having sex for 1 second? I'm trying to give you some tips.
Yes, exactly.
It's not a euphemism.
And he'll just pop in. He'd be wearing a thong as well because it's very hot. No one wears a lot of clothes. And then we could do a Twitch masterclass as well as another craft bit. We could cover that off.
Absolutely.
But there is no Wi-Fi on the island. Let me just tell you, for the festival, there is no Wi-Fi.
And what's the decision behind that?
Because the best part of festivals when I was younger was getting the brochure and ticking off all the stuff that's happening.
Yes.
Everyone gets a brochure on arrival, and if you lose it, you don't get another one. That is your responsibility. And by the end of the festival, it's dogged and covered in sick and all crunched up. Yeah. That's the whole point of it. Yeah. And you take your marker pen. We might give you a Sharpie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can build that into the £50 a weekend budget. With the flights. And you just go around, you tick off the bits that you want to see, cross out the bands you don't want to see, and that's the gift of it.
I genuinely proper love that idea because it as you say, that's what festivals are all about. They're meant to be kind of we can't see them, but we're good. Like it's supposed to have clashes. It's supposed to have like, oh, who should I go and see? And it's supposed to, it's supposed to be a collaborative effort. And this sounds weird, but one of my favorite things to talk about having no Wi-Fi, but also having no phone. Like I love being lost at a festival. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't. You said your friends will meet you here. Well, tough, they're not. So let's just go and have fun. Do you know what I mean? I'm more than happy to experience on my own. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's what's kind of missing, really, isn't it, at the moment? And so I think I would really support that. No phones. And if you want to take pictures, you can, as a part of the £50 fee, you get a disposable camera for the weekend.
Yeah.
And then we'll even print them up. We'll even print your pictures up at the end of it.
I tell you what, like we have a lot of festivals here at Castival, because obviously that's what we're talking about. But I think this is the most value for money you have ever got. You get flights to Barbados and a festival with Banksy for £50. That's pretty good.
Don't forget Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen as well. I mean, his fee alone is pretty high. Okay, I think it's time to see some of the acts as well. So who are some of the acts that you have on display at your festival? Okay, so as I said, I'm quite a big pop fan, so I'd really, really like to have Ariana Grande, Dua Lipa, Christine and the Queens, Lady Gaga. I'm just thinking like all my favorite female pop stars. Madonna, I'm a bit scared of these days, especially with the various gold teeth. She just frightens me. So probably not her. Kylie. Who else is great and female? No, I think that's enough. It would just be really awesome female pop stars, I think.
I would like to ask you, who do you think is going to open up the Saturday and who do you think is going to headline on Saturday?
Well, I mean, actually, the opening act, there is a busker in Waltham Cross.
Yeah.
And he's a one-man band. Yeah. And I don't know what his name is, but he's always at the Waltham Cross Summer Festival. Mm-hmm. And when he plays his song, he does a song and it's called Throw Your Cares Away. It goes, throw your cares away. Throw your cares away. And he just does it as a one-man band. He's got his cymbals and everything all attached to him. I want to pay it forward and give that dude his chance to open for Dua Lipa and Ariana Grande. And I think it's time. So he would be the opening act. I don't know what his name is,
One-man band
guy. He'd be the dude. He's like the sweetest guy. He's probably in his 70s, I reckon. So this could be his last opportunity to rock out, you know?
Yeah.
The big act of the night would have to be Lady Gaga because she's like literally the most important and demands the attention and the slot, I would say.
Yes, and I think Lady Gaga knows how to put on a show as well. So she's a good Saturday night headliner because of that reason as well.
Oh my god, yeah, I saw her live. It was probably about 15 years, 10 years ago, and she was incredible. Her energy and her stamina. She would be a great final act of the night because she's just so amazing. She's a ball of energy. I love her. I adore her.
So with the rest of the acts you mentioned, like Ariana Grande and Christine and the Queens, are they all on Saturday or are they dispersed through Sunday as well?
I feel like they should play twice because they're going to be very expensive. Let's have them on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Then I feel like the pressure to put bands on like bloody Kasabian or, that sort of band. But you know what? It's my festival.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do whatever you want, mate. Do whatever you want.
And I feel like there's never been an all-women festival. So I'd really like to have an all-women festival.
Yeah, go for it. Is there a certain order you would like to have or is it quite free-flowing? Or
I think, that's all in the brochure, Matt. Did you not pick up your brochure?
Sorry, I dropped it at the start.
Right,
I'm really sorry. Can I get a new one?
I think it would be quite set. It would be like, you don't want... Sometimes bands go on for fucking hours at festivals and you're like, just come on, I need to have a wee.
Yeah.
So I think it would all be based around people's bladders. So we'd probably do like an hour, like an hour and a half max. Also, I've noticed, Matt, there's this new technology which is like holograms.
Yeah.
So I think we should get some dead pop stars as well, like Amy Winehouse.
Yes, oh my
Whitney
God.
Houston as holograms. Maybe like someone a bit old like Janis Joplin.
Yes.
That'd be fun, wouldn't it? So it's like this really rocking, massive personality female artists. I mean, I've always been a big Joni Mitchell fan, but she's a bit boring these days. So no.
Joni Mitchell gets lots of love on this podcast as well. Like, so
really?
I think she's kind of like she's actually probably one of the most frequently used on the lineup actually.
Wow.
Never like, I don't think she's ever headlined, but she's on a lot of festivals. She's got a lot of bookings, you know what I mean?
Okay, so because of that, she's banned from my festival. Because my festival's better and different to everybody else's. So actually, I'm going to factor in that £50 a ticket, some security, some heavy duty security, and she will be should be removed from Barbados, please.
Wow.
It's quite strong, I know, but
yeah.
you know.
And wow, that's bye, Joni.
Bye, Joni. Off you go. You haven't written any decent songs for like 30 years, Joni. Bugger off.
It's brutal.
I know.
I like it's like, this isn't the egalitarian festival, but fuck off, Joni.
Yeah. I'm all about the people, Matt. You know, the artists, they can be treated badly, but it's about the people. I want the people to get an amazing experience for 50 quid.
Yeah.
Talk about it. And it's like building memories, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of like that so far. So we have Saturday there, but in terms of Sunday as well, I know you said there's going to be crossover. Who's going to be opening Sunday? Who's going to be closing Sunday?
So I think Sunday opening act would be Christine and the Queens, because I don't think she'd be big enough to be like a closing act on the Sunday. So she would be the opening act. But then in terms of the closing act on the Sunday, it's always, you don't want it to go on too late because you've got to get home. So someone that can speak very fast, maybe. Who speaks fast? Cardi B speaks really quickly, doesn't she?
Cardi B, yeah.
So I reckon I'd get Cardi B on, and maybe like Nicki Minaj and I can't think of her name now that does that track. I like it juicy, and then that can't think of her name. This is the other thing, Matt, I didn't tell you about. I'm secretly quite a huge rap fan.
Are you? Yeah, I can
like hip hop, rap, that sort of thing. So this new tranche of the Cardi B's kind of this world, that really makes me excited, because I do think it's empowering, and I do think like WAP is kind of moderately offensive, but I think it's about time. Why shouldn't women be singing about that kind of stuff? Absolutely.
And I do know it's been mentioned a lot on other episodes as well, but someone like Lizzo, who talks about female empowerment, is really, really important and necessary. And I think it's great for self-esteem in young people, which is wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, men have been rapping about bitches and hoes and body parts for a long time. And it's, if they're going to be offensive, but it really is just celebrating sex, isn't it, ultimately? And that's what I think someone like Cardi B just literally celebrates sex. And that is no bad thing, you know?
Yeah. And what's this festival for, if not for celebrating copious amounts of
Absolutely.
sex?
Yeah, exactly. It's a festival that celebrates sex, but also is family friendly, man.
Yeah.
It's very family friendly.
It's very, very hard to strive that line between the two, but my goodness, you do it.
It's, we will. Strummerville Festival is going to be very much balancing it all, and keeping all the plates spinning. Definitely.
Which is one of the weirder sexual acts, but
yeah. Difficult to do when naked, especially because of the Barbados heat makes your feet a bit slippy.
Like there was a very vivid image right there. So I think we've got a really awesome lineup. But is there anyone else who would like to add last minute just to kind of chuck in there?
Any other people? So obviously Megan Thee Stallion as well, of course. And who else would I like? Do you know what? I feel like Missy Elliott hasn't been around for a while. And I get her in, and I get her to come in. There'd be a mega mix at the end of the Sunday night, and she'd come on and she'd do Work It, and she'd have a whole load of children dancing with her, because she always, she always used to get the best little kid dancers come dance with her. So she'd have maybe the cast of Mamma Mia, who are currently furloughed because of COVID. We could ship them over, all the little kids, ship them over, and they could do a really good dance routine, because you've got to have a bit of a dance routine at a festival, darling.
Absolutely.
And then back to the holograms, I think, to play out, because that I always find at a festival, and I might be wrong here, but the very last act, the headline act, is actually the shittest slot because that's when everyone's thinking about getting home.
Well, yeah, so Sunday evening can be a bit of a hard one, but to be
Yeah.
fair, if you are in Barbados, I think you probably
True.
have flights booked as well. I don't think anyone's like, oh, should we leave early from Barbados? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I think the flight home would be the Monday morning. We'd
Yeah,
let you
but-
stay in the teepee with the mermaid hair or whatever it is, and the angel's wings. We'd let you
Absolutely.
stay until the Monday morning, but at 6 a.m. just to piss you off and get you up early, you know.
We got some cleaning up to do, you know. There's a lot of
Yeah.
lot of mopping up to do. Yeah, Sunday headline slots can be quite hard because you have to get the right kind of calibration for the evening, if you know what I mean. So, which dead celebrity would you pick to kind of be your Sunday headliner? If
The
not
Sunday hologram.
Sunday hologram, yeah, it's like the Telegraph.
Well, actually, no, I'm going to change my mind, Matt. I'm going to bring, actually, I've got a different person that's going to close out the show. And that person is going to be two people, in fact. It's going to be Dolly Parton and Mariah Carey, who are going to duet.
Oh my God.
They're going
yes.
to do duets of Dolly Parton's hits. And then they're going to move into doing duets of Mariah Carey's hits.
Holy moly.
Can you imagine that?
That was a sucker punch and a half right there. Oh,
it was bubbling under the surface.
Yeah.
And then I grasped it with my mind's eye, Matt.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Dolly
Yeah.
Parton and Mariah Carey duet doing
Yeah.
both of the hits. That's a quality double headliner right there.
Totally. And they're both lovely. I mean, Mariah's had a lot of bad press, but I actually really rate her. She's very funny. If you ever see her in interviews, she's got a really wicked sense of humor and she just sends herself up. I'm not sure if J-Lo is the same. I feel like J-Lo hasn't got a sense of humor, but Mariah, she's hilarious. I'd love to go for a couple of bevies with Mariah, and maybe after the festival she could come back with me. She could come back with me in my private jet and we could just have a bit of bants.
Yes. Part of the contract is that she is meant to be your friend afterwards.
I'm paying her to be my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Only £50. It's quite cheap actually. But so there's obviously an amazing caliber here. But let's talk about Dolly Parton. Do you have a particular fondness for Dolly Parton?
I do, because the thing about Dolly Parton that is so incredible is that we are the joke, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone looks at Dolly Parton, and I remember when I was growing up, that was the first experience of seeing a woman with big tits and boys going, oh, Dolly Parton's boobs, very young, in primary school. And that was sort of first sexualized pop star, really. And so when I grew up, she was just the kind of this figure of fun, like a Barbara Windsor figure, where it's just she's just a figure of fun and some breasts. Then as I grew up, I realized that actually she plays the guitar. She plays the piano. She writes her own songs. She wrote "I Will Always Love You," probably one of the best songs of the 80s. And she's laughing at us. We're not laughing at her. She's got the last laugh. She's got Dollywood. She's got millions of pounds. She's a philanthropist. She's just delightful personality. And it's one of those tricks where actually, female sexuality has been exploited for good use because she's got us all hoodwinked, really.
Well, and also I feel, certainly from my perspective as well, I think Dolly has really got that legendary status as well. I think that she also does so much behind the scenes as well, in terms of obviously her link with Miley Cyrus, and also just the fact that she put £1 million donation to a COVID vaccine as well, stuff like that, the stuff you'll never know about, which is kind of kind-hearted and golden. I just think that's she's a really remarkable person in that way. And I think so from my end, I never really saw that joking about Dolly, but there was a lot of reverence towards her. Do you know what I mean? I think it was just kind of but it might have just been that time loop, if you know what I mean. She wasn't but yeah, I think that's Dolly Parton's literally a legend. So
she is a legend, and she's earned her stripes. I think it's that likability factor as well. She's just someone that you would want to have in your family. When you go home for Christmas, if she was your auntie or, your stepdad's new girlfriend, you would just love that, wouldn't you? And they're the kind of people that I like.
Well, that's awesome. Before we move to the final section, I wanted to talk a little bit more about someone like Lady Gaga as well for your Saturday headliner. What do you think the cultural significance of Lady Gaga is? And what does it mean to you?
Cultural significance. I think there's something very, how her career has very much echoed that of Madonna's, and I studied Madonna, especially when I was working in songwriting and stuff. That was like, she's the icon. There's something that kind of, from the streets vibe about Lady Gaga, working in clubs and doing that sort of way into the music business and really just grafting, and the shit end, the not glamorous end, and persevering. And I think the cultural significance of that is very similar to what Madonna achieved. And unfortunately, I do feel like, and who am I to say, I'm just Alexis Strum of Chingford, but I think Madonna's done a little bit of a disservice over the last few years and undone some of the really good work that she did in the 80s, 90s and early noughties, because she was a woman going out there, doing her own thing, embracing her sexuality, making her money, writing great songs. And then over the last few years, I'm not sure what the message is anymore. But Lady Gaga is very much, she's her own person. She's not risen to fame because she's part of, another group of acts, or they've pushed her on, or a producer. She's entirely the master of her own, or mistress of her own destiny. And that, I think, is a really good role model. In terms of role models of our generation, I worry about the reality stars. I worry about, my daughter growing up and thinking that it's acceptable to behave in a really slutty way to get on and stuff. And I think Lady Gaga, as much as people complain about her clothes and say she's too risque or whatever, actually, I think she's a great role model. And those are the people that make a huge difference to the next generation. So I grew up, it was Madonna. And then the next generation, probably, is that generation, not millennials, the one after that.
Yeah.
Your generation, I think. What are you?
I think I am a millennial.
Are you?
I'm
okay.
Sure. But I don't know. I'm just so youthful and awesome.
Yeah, it's difficult to tell, isn't it? I mean, I'm 24, Matt. It's hard to say,
I could obviously. I never doubted that. Brilliant. Well, what an amazing festival as well. I think it's just.
Is it the best one you've ever had, though, Matt?
On the
show.
I had to stay impartial, obviously.
All right. Okay.
Am I going to be banned like Joni Mitchell?
Yeah, you're going to be not allowed into Barbados.
Yeah, for the rest of my life. For
the rest of your life. No, I think it's a good festival. It's
a really awesome festival, and I think it has a lot of messages, it has a lot of fun, and plenty of sex. But let's head to the final part of our podcast, and let's deal with some floor fillers. So as with event management, things are bound to go wrong. So here's a couple of hypothetical questions that Alexis has to deal with in a manner that she sees fit.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's start with this. Oh no, Dolly and Mariah hate each other's guts. They say they won't perform if the other one is performing. Who would you pick between Dolly Parton and Mariah Carey?
That is a very difficult question, Matt.
I'm sorry.
Who would I pick?
It's floor fillers. It's hard.
Well, okay, I'm going to base this on their Christmas movie output. Okay, so Mariah did a really good Christmas movie that's an animation about a small puppy. And Dolly Parton's done Dolly Parton's Christmas special on Netflix, but it wasn't very good. So for that reason, for the reason of pure, absolute arbitrary nothingness, I'm going to go with Mariah because she had the better Christmas film. That's a very good reason. And yes, I know I'm a very, very good judge. So
yes, I think that's the only legislation I really judge people by. Well, how is
the Christmas film special? Output, yeah.
Okay, so your fans are in the mosh pits. They're doing some crowd surfing, and they're doing the strum. What do you think that might be?
Well, I know that strumming in certain parts of the country means masturbating. And it was very upsetting to find out when it's your actual name. But if they're doing the strum, I think they're just doing a ta-now, a break.
Yes.
Ta-now.
That actually does work quite musically. It works really nice, actually. Usually it's a bit more abstract with other people's names, but that's probably the most perfect answer we've had, actually.
And can I just say, Matt, that I looked into other pop stars when I was an almost pop star. I looked into other pop stars with musical names because one day I sort of fell down the Google rabbit hole, and my name is actually Strum. It's not a made up name, but Alicia Keys, that's not her real surname.
Yeah, I always find it a bit devastating when people use a stage name, not for any real reason, but like I think that's also why I like comedy as well, because like people are like, oh, you're gonna use a stage name. It's like, no, it's about me. I mean, it's so intricately about me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But then again, getting older now, I can see the appeal of using a stage name as well. But
good if you don't want to get sued.
Yeah. Well,
you know.
Yeah, well, you're going to be heavily sued after your festival.
I think I probably already am after that. Yeah, just on the basis of the £50 a week ticket, £50 a weekend ticket.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's too cheap, isn't it? Can you get sued for being too cheap?
Sued for too cheap.
Well, that would be a new one, wouldn't it?
It's a Tory government all over. But also, yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that Joni and Lawrence Fox are teamed up to sue you to get.
Oh God, what a combo that would be!
A very odd combo to be fair.
They kind of look quite similar. Maybe they're related, and that was the link between them. The Lawrence Fox is part of the Mitchell family, or Mitchell's part of the Lawrence Fox family. Who knows?
Who knows, indeed. Oh no, Lady Gaga has cancelled last minute. Who do you get to replace her?
I'm going to go on in Lady Gaga's place.
Yes.
In fact.
Oh my God, yeah.
No, I wouldn't. I would get a drag act because I've seen some pretty good Lady Gaga drag acts, and they could just mime to her songs. In fact, get a whole team of Lady Gaga drag acts and do a big dance version. I think that would be all right. Actually, I'd like that. I'm a big fan of drag artists in general. So.
That sounds amazing. Yes. Oh goodness, you have one extra slot to fill on your stage. However, your sponsors say that you have to pick someone from your most recently played on Spotify. Who would you pick from your most recently played?
Lizzo.
Straight.
And I remembered that rapper now. It's Doja Cat. I can't believe it slipped my head, but Doja Cat would also be on the bill, and Lizzo.
Doja Cat.
So Lizzo would come on and she'd play Juice or whatever it's called and just smash it, and everyone go, wow.
Yes.
That's cool. We forgot that someone else was booked.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh dear, someone's running late to your festival and you need to fill for time. But fortunately, one of your favorite celebrities is willing to do a DJ set for you. They don't need to be a DJ, but which celebrity would you pick?
Dane Bowers.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm aware of Dane. But,
So Dane Bowers was in that boy group, and I've completely, the name's gone out of my head now. What were they called? But he's the one that's famously on the sex tape with Katie Price, aka Jordan.
See. Yeah.
And he's now become a DJ.
Yeah.
Since he left the band. Another Level. That was it. He was in Let Me Lick You Up and Down till you say her. That's Dane Bowers. So I'd get him on. It would be very unexpected. They'd be expecting someone like, Tiesto or BT or someone really massive. And I go, and it's Dane Bowers. Because obviously I would do all the voiceover intros.
Yeah.
I didn't mention that before, but I'd be going, and it's Dolly Parton with Mariah Carey in that voice.
In that Radio 2, it's time for, it's
exactly.
Lady Gaga.
Exactly. That's what you need.
I think that's perfect. And this is the final question. One of your acts has forgotten their equipment, but good news, they can do an acoustic set. Which band or which artist, if you had to choose, would you do an acoustic set?
Oh, Dua Lipa, because I think she's really, really, really talented. And I think that her songs, as I said before, like right at the start of this conversation, if a song is good, it will sustain being acoustic, and even in 20 years' time. And I think any of her songs would work brilliantly acoustic. She's always sings live. She's very, very musically talented. So I sound like I'm in love with her, and I am a little bit, Matt, if I'm truly honest.
Well, fortunately, you can spend £50 to get in a private jet on the way home with her.
Yeah, exactly.
Mariah Carey.
There we go. We'll all become best friends.
Absolutely. Actually, I want to finish on this one. I know I mentioned, I think this is this perfect one to finish on. Alexis, your festival loves you. I mean, your festival loves you, and they want you to sing one song. if you had to pick one song to join the artist on stage, which song would you pick and which artist would you pick?
I would go on stage with the one-man band from Waltham Cross and sing Throw Your Cares Away, because literally I saw him with my best mate Tracy, who I adore, and we had a really difficult day. We had loads of personal stuff going on, and we saw this one-man band and we cried with laughter and joy because he was just so wonderful. It's just like one of those pure things. So I would go on stage with him, but I would stand behind him because I wouldn't want to steal his thunder, and it's his moment, and I would just sing along. That's what I'm doing.
That's genuinely such a sweet way to finish off that podcast as well.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for the festival, and thank you for submitting your amazing festival. And where can people find you online, Alexis? And would you like to plug anything?
Oh, I have my own Twitch channel,
which is so good.
Twitch.tv/Alexis Strum, which Matt has been on numerous times. And I have a show called The HR Department on that, and another one called Call of Duty Free. They're my big shows, and then I stream in between those. I'm on Twitter @Alexis Strum. I'm on Instagram. I think I'm everywhere. I'm literally everywhere. I'm even on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
At IMDb Pro.
Yeah.
Probably.
Just listening everywhere.
Stars are us. I don't know. I'm there. I'm just everywhere. You can find me very easily. Very easily.
Well, what a pleasure to have you, and please go and check that out, everyone. But if you like this podcast, please support Castival. You can check out all the past episodes for free on Apple and Spotify and everywhere else. You can also give us a follow at Castival Podcast, and you can follow me personally at Matt Hoss Comedy on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and so on. And remember to give us a 5-star rating. It really helps us out. And if you would like to, why don't you join the Patreon? Links are below. But before that, let's give a massive thank you and farewell to my wonderful guest, Alexis Strum. Thank you very much.
Thank you.